Hi, I'm Danny with etrailer, and today we're going to take a look at the Roadmaster base plate kit on our 2023 Jeep Grand Cherokee L. I think the 2023 Jeep Grand Cherokee L makes a pretty solid flat toe setup. If you've got the family along, it's hard to beat. Seat 7, rides nice, and it's perfect for when you want to get out past the campground and see a little more. The trick is making sure you get one with Active Drive 2 or Quadra-Trac II four-wheel drive. That way you can tow it with all four wheels down and you don't have to mess with the drive shaft. Once you've got it all dialed in, it's one of those setups you can count on, family-friendly, dependable, and ready to go wherever you take your RV. There are 5 main components to your flat tow setup, and starting here on the vehicle side, you have the base plate kit. So this is the device that will attach directly to your vehicle's frame and give you mounting points for your tow bar. Now your tow bar is the in-between between your motorhome and vehicle. It will attach directly to the hitch. And your next component is going to be your safety cables. So these are important for if you have a catastrophic failure. Now you're also going to need your wiring. So your diode wiring in the back will control your left and right turn as well as your brake via this 7-pole plug here. And lastly, you're going to need a braking system. So there's going to be a braking system inside your vehicle, and that will enact the brakes when you push on them in your motorhome. One more thing you're going to need specifically for your Jeep Grand Cherokee is going to be a charge line kit, and that's just going to give a trickle charge from your motorhome into your battery so it stays charged and you're not arriving to your campsite and your vehicle's dead, and your braking system is going to be reliant on that as well. Now I'll go ahead and take our tow bar off so you can get a look at what this looks like without it all hooked up. Now we did have to get an adapter for our Blue Ox tow bar here because this is a Roadmaster base plate kit. So I would recommend getting like components, but if you do already have a different tow bar, you can get that adapter. Removing this arm is really simple. You just push this pin, give it a turn, and it'll slide right out. Then you can store this in your vehicle or your motorhome when you're making a grocery run. This is what this base plate looks like on the front of your vehicle. Now, as you can see, it's designed very well. It has a very low profile on the front of this. Your safety chain hooks aren't sticking out too far, and you actually can still have use of your tow hooks here. There's also a bracket that comes down, and it will allow you to attach your 7-pole plug in this bottom pocket here, which is a really cool look. Another nice feature about this base plate is it does have a tab where you can mount your breakaway switch. If you have any further questions about this base plate or any of the components in your flat tow setup, then please feel free to reach out to us at etrailer. Now, getting into the install on this is fairly difficult. You are going to have to remove your entire fascia, and there's a little bit of frame cutting. So I would recommend getting a friend and spending most of the day doing this. But if you don't have the time or tools to do it yourself, then please feel free to check out our dealer locator, and we can find a professional in your area to do this for you. But if you're looking to do it yourself, follow along, and I'll show you how to do it. We are going to be removing this fascia to get this base plate on. So first off, I got the hood open, and we're going to be removing this center piece. And I got a flathead screwdriver and a trim panel tool. I'm going to use both of them to get these push pin fasteners out. It's going to be a slot on one side. I'll use my flathead to twist and get the top section pushed up. And trim panel tool might be a little easier to get under there. With all 10 of those removed, we can now lift this up and set it to the side. Lifting that trim piece will reveal a 10mm bolt on either side. I'll get these removed. I got a T40 Torx bit, and I'm going to remove all of these bolts that connect the fascia to this upper trim piece here. There's going to be 6 of them. It's going to be 6 10mm bolts on the back here, and I'm going to get all these removed for now. Next up, I will remove these 8mm bolts on the bottom on either side. Next up, we're going to be at the driver's side wheel well liner here, and there's going to be 8mm bolts we'll have to remove. Starting here and going down, there will be 5. Now there are also going to be two 10mm plastic nuts that we'll have to remove. And these are both up above the tire, going up into the carpet, into the frame. Once we removed all those fasteners, we can pull back our liner, and that's going to reveal a plug back here. So we will have to get this unplugged. I'm going to use a flathead to get this clip. It's going to be a white clip. I'll use that flathead just to pull back on that to disengage the clip. And once that's done, we can push down on it and get these separated. That was that clip I was talking about. Went ahead and taped off the fender liner and the fascia where we're going to be pulling this apart. Now on this fender piece, I'm going to be using a 8mm socket, and I'll show you after I get this off. There's going to be white tabs and then green and black tabs, and I'm just using this 8mm socket to put it over that white tab just to get these pinched in so I can pull this out. And then I'm kind of using my fingers on this side to get the green and black tab out. Once I pulled it back to here, I can go ahead and get just a rag in the back of this so it keeps it away from the vehicle. There's going to be a bolt that we'll have to remove that's holding our lower fascia in. I'll use a 10mm socket and get this removed. And I'll do that on both sides. We can now remove the fascia, and you're definitely going to want someone to help you with this, but before we grab somebody, you kind of want to get this section and get this pulled up first. Now this can be really difficult. What I found was I looked on the inside, and there's going to be a black piece where that bolt was we took out. Pull that down, and then you can pull this out a lot easier. I got Scott help me, and we're going to both simultaneously pull this off. We lifted up on this, and we got our grill up around our hood stop. This is going to be the front camera hose. This has the washer fluid in it. We're going to have to get this removed as well. Pretty good idea to put some vice grips to stop that from leaking out. There's going to be another sensor we'll also have to remove before we get this set to the side. There's another wire connector we'll have to remove on the driver's side. I'm going to push out in that red tab and get this removed as well. We went ahead and set this in a safe area while we're working on the vehicle. There's going to be two bolts securing this tow hook to our bumper beam. I've got a 16mm socket. I'll remove these two. Now there's going to be a 10mm nut on the inside here. I'll get this removed and set that in a safe spot. And the bumper beam is going to have 4 16mm head bolts attaching this as well. I'm going to get these all removed on either side. There's going to be one up top here. And with all of those removed, you can pull this off and set this to the side. We will not be reinstalling this. That spot where we took the 10mm bolt off, this will get in our way of our base plate. So it does say to cut it off in the instructions, but you can actually use some vice grips or some pliers and get that weld broken loose and actually knock this into the frame. I went ahead and got a magnet and I actually retrieved this bolt, so try not to hit it too hard so it doesn't go flying. To remove this air dam, there's going to be a couple of fasteners. I'm just going to use my trim panel tool, get these removed. We one on that side, and the inside here is going to be one close to the radiator. Up top here, I will have to cut a little section out just to get this off because it's attached to a much longer piece. Just using a pair of snips, and I'll go ahead and get this set to the side. We will have to cut this out But before we do that, I'm going to get this tow hook off on either side just to make it a little easier. I got some channel locks. I'm going to get these secured to our nut on the back. Then I'm going to twist this side. Ours are a little rusty, so there is a little difficulty. So if you have that, you can just use a bar and use it to twist this off a little easier. But it's almost ready to come off, so get this the rest of the way. And then I'll set this to the side for now. On the passenger side here, if you have a hybrid, there will be a passenger alert device, but we don't have one today. But if you do, you can relocate this by unscrewing it, taking this off, and relocating that. Now I went ahead and taped where we're going to cut. It's basically at the top of this bracket all the way over, and then right where it curves here on this radius all the way up to about an inch above this bracket here. This is our horn plug. I'm just going to get this unplugged. It's going to be a red tab that I'll go ahead and push out on. Might be a little difficult to get out. You might just need to use a screwdriver or something to get this pulled out. But with that out, you can push in and get this unplugged. With that removed, I can use a grinder and get this cut out. Now I'll go ahead and file these edges down and spray them with some black spray paint just so they don't rust in the future. On this upper air dam passenger side, there's going to be a plug. Now I'll get this fastener taken out, and I'm going to push this plug through our air dam. Get this set to the side for now. And the reason being is because we actually are going to cut this off. There's going to be a notch on the bottom here, and I just got a white paint marker and drew where we're going to cut this off. This is the piece we're discarding. I got an oscillating tool, and I'll go ahead and follow this line. I'll go ahead and take a knife and just clean up all these edges. We are now ready to put our side plates on for our base plate, and these are side specific. As you can see, there's a teardrop shape, and you're going to want the point to be facing up towards the sky, and this is going to be on the outside of the vehicle. This is going to be our driver's side, and I'm going to reinstall those bolts we took out and get these put in here just to hold this in place for now. And I want this plate to be pushed as far over as possible. And there's a little bit of play up and down. I'm kind of just trying to center that. So once I've done that, I can go ahead and tighten these up. In that teardrop shape, you're going to want to cut a hole out so you can feed some hardware in. They say to use 1.5 inches. I got 1.25 inches. As long as it's big enough to get your hardware in, it should be good. So I'll go ahead and cut a hole in the frame. I'll go ahead and paint these edges as well. Over on the side of this plate, I'm gonna go ahead and drill out these holes, use these as a template. I have a 17/32 drill bit. I'm going to be using this to mark our center. Now I'm going to use a smaller bit just to get a pilot going, make this a little easier. I'll go ahead and drill them the rest of the way with the 7/32 bit. I got the 1.5 inch long bolts that come in the kit and the nut that's welded onto this plate. Now it's a good idea to run these in here first just to make sure they're clean and they won't be obstructed. And once you've done that on both, I'm going to grab some red Loctite, put that on, put a split locking washer on, and get this fed into the frame. Now I will feed this through the hole that we cut, and you can bend this any way you want to kind of help you align this better. I'll go ahead and get this. Now I put the tow hook back on. I'm going to get some Loctite on the hardware, get the large flat washer on, and put this through the mounting location on the tow hook into our bracket. I got a smaller flat washer on the back, followed by a locking split washer, and then the nut. We can now tighten and torque these down, and as you can see there's some play to this, and you want this to be pushed out as far as possible when you tighten this down. You may need somebody else to pull this while you tighten it. I'm going to use a 5/8 inch socket for the head of the bolt and an 11/16 wrench for the back. Just going to snug this up and then come back and torque it down. Torquing this down to the specs in the instructions. You can usually rent one from your local auto parts store if you don't have a torque wrench at home, or you can purchase one from us at eTrailer. Now with those torqued down, I can go ahead and tighten that nut on the back, just so it's snug. And I am using a 30mm socket to get this tightened on. I got the center section here, and I'm going to raise this in place. I got a mallet and I am persuading this into place. May have to work either side till it fits properly. I'll go ahead and put some hardware in once I get it aligned. You can put your split locking washer and nut on the back side. I want to test fit the fascia, and before we do that, we need to take this foam piece off. So I'm just have needle nose, and I'm actually going to just bend out a couple of these prongs, and it should come off fairly easy. And it's got 4 of these, 2 on this side, 2 on the other side. We'll go ahead and get these off. Take this off, and this will not be getting reinstalled. This grill piece is where our base plate is going to stick through the fascia. Now you can either remove this entire piece or trim it out. I decided to already trim it out here. And as you can see, it's almost fitting, but we're gonna have to cut a little bit more of the top and bottom of just that grill piece, and it should be good to go. You can take these out now, get Loctite on them, tighten them back in, and then we can tighten and torque all of our hardware. And now we can cut our handle nuts just to make sure they're not sticking out too far on either side. And we can go ahead and reinstall our ambient temperature sensor. We can go ahead and put it back through where it was, but I am going to cut this tab off on the back. I'll put it back through, and there's another hole here. I'll go ahead and get our existing Christmas tree fastener and fasten this in place. Now we are ready to put the fascia back on, but we're going to keep it off because we need to run our diodes and put on some of our components for the rest of our flat toe setup. I went ahead and took it off and trimmed a little more just around the components here, like the breakaway switch, and once I got everything the way I liked it, I went ahead and put our fascia back on the same way we took it off. And that just about does it for the look at the Roadmaster base plate kit on our 2023 Jeep Grand Cherokee L.